Hello and welcome to another update video about Solana. So Solana saw quite a bit of a move today. Finally some movement in the crypto space, and it's good that one of the higher market cap cryptos does a move like that, because it shifts attention back to crypto a little bit for some people. It was apparently, you can argue it was or it wasn't, but it could have been related, this move, to Bonk, which is apparently the first dog coin on the Solana blockchain. That led to that spike today. It already started a few days ago with Vitalik Buterin's tweet. He made quite a positive tweet about Solana, and now we saw some more fundamental triggers that led to a bit of a relief rally. And you can get that sometimes when you have a massively oversold market, which obviously we had here. Yeah, we're still not overbought on the daily, so we might shift a little bit higher actually. Now that we've broken above initial resistance, but let's take a look at that on the shorter time frame. But yeah, we were very oversold, so we have a bit of a relief rally. The rally today has nothing to do with, in my opinion, with the bottom is in or anything. This is purely a relief rally, nothing special. So the higher level assumption doesn't change anyway, so not too much happened, at least not yet. What I'd like to show you is just sort of to put into perspective. So okay. There we go. Let's see if we have the whole chart actually on Coinbase. Yeah, it's all right. Okay, so with Coinbase, that's an old chart. Let me take that out, that stuff. What I wanted to show you is, if you put the move today into perspective, it is the biggest green candle probably since November, but if you put it into perspective, it's basically nothing compared to the entire move down. And even if you put it onto the log chart, where things are flattened out a little bit, it's a green candle and it looks interesting, but it's at the moment nothing too special. We made a huge green candle here as well, that was in May, and you see what happened afterwards. So at the moment it's way too early to talk about the low is in. The low could be in, as I say oftentimes in the altcoin videos. For many of these altcoins, they have certainly dropped far enough, and we are certainly in a long-term, you could call it a long-term accumulation area, even though I'm very, very careful with accumulating altcoins, because with altcoins, it's just higher risk, right? And normally what people tend to do when the bull run starts, then to shift back into altcoins, because they typically move much stronger than Bitcoin. But Bitcoin, in my opinion, hasn't bottomed yet either, so I think we're gonna face new lows, but that doesn't mean that we couldn't see a more substantial recovery before we come down if Solana pushes through important resistance levels. Next key resistance, structural resistance, is the $15 level. We're going to talk about that now on the on the Solana chart. So that's the count that we talked about before. I've got an alternative count now that would get active if we push above $15, but it's not bullish. It just means we have a bit of a larger bounce. So I would need an impulsive rally, certainly above the $20 level, to have a first indication that the bottom is in. So that would be a very first indication. So let's take a look here at the Solana chart. This chart shows a count where we assume that we moved from the August highs down in a wave 1, moved up in a 2, came down in a 3, moved up in a 4, and we're now coming down in a 5, ending diagonal. In that ending diagonal, we have 5 waves highlighted there in orange, which is here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And each of these subwaves is ABC, counted as ABC. So that, as you can see here, I consider this currently just a spike. Now, the strength of the spike is getting now into a region where, should we push a bit higher, it's getting very likely we're going to break the $15 level. But that doesn't mean that the higher level assumption of still getting lower lows here would be invalidated. It just would mean that we have a bit of a larger bounce here. I can only encourage everybody not to get too caught up in the weeds here, in the lower level wave counts, because just because we have an extension of some subwaves on the shorter time frame doesn't mean the overall trend is changing. Yeah? So don't be too quick to get all excited. This could become something, but we won't know that until we see a substantial retracement, hold a higher low, and then we can talk about, maybe we have a signal here. I mean, this is in the context of what's happening here, nothing too crazy, to be honest. Yeah. So let's just let's just understand that. But overall here, yeah, we're currently moving up in a B wave. B waves can move up quite substantially. As you know, B waves can do funny things. B waves could even overshoot the wave 2. Now, I don't think that would necessarily happen here. I think if it's overshooting the wave 2, then we don't have a B wave anymore. But we can say that we're certainly still in a range where a B wave would operate. You can see that we got a rejection at the 78.6% retracement. If we get above that, sustained break above that level, then we can talk about another count that I'm going to show you. But the next key and structural resistance, so first of all, is here this $13. I mean, if I do it correctly here, I didn't do it very accurately. There you go. It's the $13.50 level. So that's the 78.6 retrace. That is the next resistance level. We need to push above it to enable higher prices. I wouldn't put too much emphasis on the 88.7 FIB level, but on the $15 level will be very, very important ceiling here. And a break above that can send us higher, and we're going to talk about what the resistance is there in a minute on the alternative chart. Because then I would have to change the higher level wave count, not too much, just sort of the subdivisions of the count. It just means we have a larger bounce. Yeah, but doesn't say that the chart has turned bullish yet. We would then come down in a C wave afterwards, a wave 4 up and a wave 5 down in this count. If we now look at the subdivisions, so as we said in the last video, it did push higher. Yeah, because there was still one wave missing, in my opinion, and we had not seen any evidence that the move up was stopped or exhausted. So it did push up a bit higher. I think we can still go currently with the assumption that it's an ABC. And again, as long as we're staying below 1350, this count is absolutely valid that we had here. And I'll show it to you that because the lower level wave counts here mess it up a little bit. Let me just, so 1 second. Need to go to the lower level chart. There you go. So yeah, I mean, this is the count where I said this looks like an A wave, this looks like a B wave. Down here I said the move up is probably not yet finished, and we did push higher. In my video earlier today, I think we were, where were we? Here, correct? I think so. And I said to you, this looks like we're gonna get one more push to the upside, which we did. Yeah, and there's still no signal really that the move up is finished. So I encourage you, when we have an active uptrend, I mean, you can have different trends on different time frames. In this case, we have on the daily surely a downtrend, but here obviously on the 1 hour chart, we now have an uptrend. Don't get too caught up in ideal targets. So when I tell you, for example, here we have 5 waves up, that we should get an ideal, whatever, that we might find resistance here, and the ideal target was around 1250. Yeah, I remember that we talked about that. And if we look at the ABC pattern here, I think we talked about the 1250 level would be an ideal target. Now, if it's an ideal target, it's not the only target. I also mentioned to you the 1430 level, which is the 1.618 FIB extension, which we nearly reached, which you could still reach. Yeah. So I had in the comments, I saw that a few people just started to short. Now, obviously, with when you use this for trading, always look at signals as well. I mean, I make a video at a certain point in time. So of course, if the trend is still up, I give you some targets that we could reach. But of course, you need to see then when we reach these targets, yeah, do we turn around or do we just push through? Because the market, when it's an impulse, we know that from crypto, impulses can go a bit, they can overshoot. It's not even overshooting here because the 1.618 FIB extension is actually a very viable target for a C wave. So, you then need to watch about, do we see any reversal targets? Because if I told you one ideal target is the 1250 level, but obviously another one was the 1.618, if you just start to short without seeing any reversal signal, you're just shorting into an active uptrend. And the risk is obviously still to go, it will push higher. But yeah, even here now we came down, but we did hold. So we did not really sell too much yet. So this rally could still go a little longer. If I draw the FIBs here, I mean, we only came down to the 50% retracement. So this could certainly still push higher. A signal that we are obviously going higher would be a break above, first of all, the 1350 level, and then a break above 1390. if we now drop below the previous wave 4 low, I think then we can talk about maybe this short rally is over. You can also use, for example, to help you with that, you can use, I mean, how do you determine a trend is over, right? Because this is now purely, you know, we have an impulse here, yeah. Possibly here the wave A was an impulse, the B is corrective, the C wave is an impulse. So these can always extend out. And to determine, you know, what do you use to determine if a trend is broken? Well, there's certain ways. You can look for 2 lower lows and 2 lower highs, or you can use a trend line. Sometimes these are very helpful, more or less, but I think this is, that's not a very good trend line. Sometimes these work better on some charts, yeah. But you could argue we are in a bit of a channel actually now, to maybe an impulsive channel. So, and a break of the channel would indicate that the rally is over. If we break down, yeah. What else could you use? You could use a moving average on the lower time frame. But yeah, these are sort of the things that, you know, just important to understand that I can only make a current assessment on the chart because we're looking here at the micro counts, and this is only on the 1 hour chart that we're looking at that. So from 1 hour to the other, developments on the chart can change, of course, and we need to change them. So always, you know, when you enter a trade, wait for a signal. Now, what is the other count? So the next key resistance after 1350 is the $15 level. If we get above that level, then we cannot uphold this current count, because it would mean that the wave 3 never started, right? And the wave 2 is taken out. So what would be another count? Well, it would just need a little bit of an adjustment of the count. And this is a very similar count. It also starts at the August high, and wave 1-2 is similar. But then we would assume in this count, the wave 3 is down here, still to be done, the wave 4 and the wave 5 as well. So this also goes lower. However, the subdivision of the wave 3 is different. Yeah, I don't have a 1-2 here. I've got the 1-2 up here. This is possible as well. Then a wave 3 down, that would be finished. We are now in a wave 4 retracement, and then there would be a wave 5 down. So in that case, the wave 4 has a little bit more space. And that means if we move above $15, we are probably in this count. And it could be that all we're doing at the moment is just an A wave. So anybody who's speculating for further upside could, you know, a possible trade idea would be to wait for that B retracement and then to scale into a wave C high. But I need some more evidence here where we are heading to, and how the move down is going to. If the move down is in 3 waves, it's most likely a B wave, and then the wave C could be traded long. Bear in mind, this is all within a larger downtrend. But yeah, this could certainly move a bit higher. So be ready for that. As long as we don't see a signal that we are coming down, this can of course still overextend and extend. Now we have on this chart now reached also the first resistance area at 1358. So for a wave 4, the first target is always the 23.6% FIB level. And that was reached. The ideal target is the 38.2% FIB level at $17. And then the 50% is the 1982 level. So that really means that a move above the $20 level would be something more bullish, because then I cannot justify this wave count anymore. Then it is something more bullish. Yeah, because a move above the 50% retracement would be very unusual for wave 4. Okay, and then we can talk about maybe the low is in, and, you know, possible scaling in setups, because if the trend has changed, you know, we might then suddenly start to look at long again. But at the moment, this is still a downtrend in my opinion, because we purely have no evidence it has shifted. Yeah, this is the way this looks is also not a very healthy pattern at the moment. So it looks in proportions, you know, nothing. Look at this. It's nothing. We did something similar here. Can you see that? So it's, yeah, it's a bit too early to really get all excited and everything. But, you know, as you know, in crypto, sometimes these impulses extend further, and this rally could still, if sentiment remains a bit positive for the next few days, this could still push a bit higher. I will certainly keep you updated about latest resistance levels, and if I see something interesting in the chart, of course. So, hope you liked the update about Solana. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment, and subscribe. And if you really like the content, then please check out the channel membership. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye-bye.